Do you live in the US and want fast, fresh and tasty meals without the hassle of shopping or all that hard work preparation? Well, don't you worry, as a lazy man, I've got you covered. Try America's #1 meal kit service, HelloFresh, and get yourself fresh, pre-portioned ingredients delivered direct to your door. So why not eat well, stay healthy, and avoid the cost of regular takeout by trying HelloFresh? Just click the link in the description below for a special limited time discount and free shipping as well. Enjoy. Well, I've talked a lot in FM23 about the improvements to recruitment from the AI side of things, and if ever a summer proves it, it is this one. Dougie Freedman has obviously been on bargain hunt one too many times because he has found us some absolute gems and managed to do it within our budget. Let's go and see what he's done in the summer transfer window and head into our first game, which if last year's anything to go by, will be a relegation 6-pointer. Yes, hello and welcome to part 76 and season 10 of this FM23 story, The Head Coach, with me, Daniel. It is an absolutely brilliant summer that we are back to reflect on. One that has been full of pleasant surprises, two of the best bargain deals I think you'll ever see from an AI director of football, possibly two of the best signings ever in the history of this save. We've also had a surprise out, a few others moved on from the club, a bit of an experienced exodus, a general lowering of the average age, and of course a few more signings to meet as well. Overall, I am overjoyed with what's happened, but we all know that on the pitch that could come straight back down to earth in a moment. But for now, if you're looking forward to a very big summer transfer special, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. We've got a lot to talk about and we've got a lot to thank Dougie Freedman for. So before we go and do anything else and head into this new season, we have got to start with the transfer work. Well, we start with the release players, which doesn't really offer any surprises because there were 4 players who we knew were going to retire and they've all left the club as a result. They were all in the senior squad last year and some of them much more involved than others. So 2 of the regulars were Odysseus, the goalkeeper, certainly in the first half of the year, and Mario Pasalic, who was a regular throughout. Rob Holding also retired, but he'd spent most of the year throwing his toys out the pram. And then later on in the summer, Junior Firpo, who played a couple of games at the start, but of course then got loaned out for the rest of the season. So those 4 have all now retired from professional football and left the club accordingly. But what about players that Dougie chose to get rid of? Well, let's go and move on to all transfers and let's go back to the end of last year. Because at the end of the season, we saw a few players move on. Renan Lodi was the first of them, and you'll notice a pattern here. A lot of experienced players leaving and a lot of younger ones coming in, which is exactly what I wanted, and I'm incredibly grateful to Dougie for. So Renan Lodi went to Fenerbahce for 2.9 million. Did a good job for us last year. He wasn't actually a bad signing, but he was at the end. It was going to be a one-year deal if nothing else. And to be fair to him, he's declining physically now. He was over the hill. He was a backup player, but he served his purpose. So I can't really complain, albeit we made a little bit of a loss on him, which wasn't ideal. In terms of the rest at the end of the year, the only other one out was Pontus Outfist. He started the season with a couple of good performances, but really started to decline after that. Once Guy Vaknin came in, he was nowhere near the team. And when he did play on occasion, he didn't really have an impact. He's definitely no longer a Premier League player, but he moves over to France. I'm sure he'll do a good job there. And we got a little bit of money, albeit not even £1 million. On to this season, the outs continued. A couple of free agents, but then Dimitris Nikolaou, the signing last summer that I was excited about, who was just awful on the pitch for some reason. He went to Sampdoria for 8 million. We got most of our money back, which isn't a bad deal at all. Again, a 32-year-old, one of those short-term signings last year, and his replacement might be the biggest upgrade we've ever had. But an okay player, again, I guess served his purpose, but he gave away 100 penalties, and I'm glad to see the back of him. Lincoln followed suit just after. He went for 2 million to Girona. He's a bit of a Palace club legend, played 268 league games, scored a couple of really crucial goals last year, but again, at 32, physically declining, he was well over the hill. And there was no way we were going to get another Premier League season from him. The last one to move on in that little bunch at the start of the window was Piotr Stoczynski, who left for 5 million to Stoke City. I think we're still paying a bit of his wages too. 27-year-old Polish international, wasn't really that near the first team. Of course, the first half of the year, we didn't play with wingers, which really cost him. And one of the star signings of the summer is a right winger, so he was always going to move on. Again, his replacement is very much an upgrade, so Dougie deserves a lot of credit. Further down in the summer, Atac Mert was involved a little bit last year. He's gone out on loan to Blackpool, where he'll get first team football and a chance to really improve. A few of those other youngsters we mentioned when we first came in have also gone out on loan again. Adi Swanson, the right back, to Blackpool as well. Luca Cassani to Rotherham, the man that we missed out on at Ipswich. Sam Fawns, he got a few mentions last year. He's gone back out on loan, this time to Reading. He's got the potential to be a Premier League player though. But then the big deal near the bottom, I think it's fair to say, is Zach Williams, who threw his toys out the pram, he forced his way out, and Dougie got 10 million for him. He goes to Burnley, who I think went down to the Championship, didn't they? They were bottom of the league, and it's a £7 million profit for the club. So you've got to say Dougie's done very well there. He was a very good Championship player to get this club out of that division, but at Premier League level, technically and physically, he's probably not quite there. So at 27, he gets good Championship football and was a really good servant to the club, so fair play to him. Before we get on to the ins though, I've got to show you one staff member who's come in the summer. There were loads of youth ones joining everywhere, but the only senior one is Josh Walsh, a coach from Brentford. Again, just bolstering the team a little bit, so really glad with that. But on to the ins. There is a lot to talk about. There's a lot of good ones that have happened later this summer. One reunion, which you may be able to notice towards the end of the window. But there's two big deals this summer. Two of the best bargains I think we've ever seen in a head coach. And they both come at the end of last year. One of them was pre-agreed before the window opened, and I think it was to coincide with Rob Holding's retirement. We then saw an offer go in straight after. Hugo Esnol is the man that we're talking about here. 8 million from Troy, who were relegated from the top tier in France. And my word, we must have got him on a relegation release clause or something, because there is no way that this boy is worth 8 million quid. Look at him. He speaks for himself. Physically, he's a monster. Mentally, he's sensational. And technically, he's very good. He's an upgrade on the like of Williams. He's similar to Nicolau. He's only 22 years of age. He's been a stalwart for France's under-21 team. Hopefully, with regular Premier League football, he'll become a stalwart for their first team. And if you look at him, he's training brilliantly. He's improving all the time. He's on a 5-year deal. Massive release clause. Dougie Freedman, no matter what he did after that, and it was almost a bit of a negative for him, he did that on the opening day of the window, and we had this guy come in as soon as it opened. So how was he ever going to top it? He hasn't, but he's come pretty close. This guy is one of the best signings I've ever had in a head coach, for the level, for the age, for the quality, and for the price. I mean, he's an absolute steal. So Hugo Esnol was the perfect start to the summer, the exact player we needed at left centre half. And he was followed very quickly by two more signings. Nicky O'Reilly, another one of those young ones. Got a little bit of potential, but I don't think he's ever going to make it. The second one that was big, though, was our replacement on the right wing. It was an area where, after Vaknin and Ribeiro, the two striker/right wing options, we didn't really have any quality. And Leonid Gruznov comes in from CSKA, £12.25 million, albeit he's got to adapt to playing a bit further up the pitch. He's traditionally on the right of a 4, but he's 3.5-star ability. He's the biggest paid player at the club, I believe, certainly of the new signings. And for 12 million quid, look at him physically. Look at his key technical attributes, the technique, the dribbling, the crossing. Look at his movement off the ball. I mean, it's a super upgrade. Those two signings for a combined 20 million is possibly the best director of football work we may ever see in this save, in any year of the head coach. I don't know if I'm maybe overstating this. You might remember summers that have been like this before. But I can't remember two signings that I've felt more excited about. And to be fair, at that point, towards the end of June, I was still looking at maybe moving out, getting a job, going elsewhere. When those two came in, I went, I'm sticking here for another season because we will have a good year next year. It has been backed up by a few good signings and a few bizarre signings later in the summer. So another youngster came in, Bartosz Golda. Not the best. He's not got the biggest potential, but his personality's all right. So we'll see if he develops. Ivan Linares, though, was the next one, and he was a bit of a weird one for the summer because he was £8 million from Atletico's backup team, and he's a good goalkeeper, only 23 years of age, a Spaniard, very decent, not the best handling, but everything else is good. The problem is, though, he didn't have a work permit. He's got a great personality. He's in good shape. He's actually gone back on loan to Atletico now. He came into the club. It was a really weird one. His work permit was rejected. It was appealed. The appeal was obviously unsuccessful. He was bought in anyway. And in the next backroom meeting, it said you need to put him on the loan list because he can't get a work permit. So he's been put on the loan list. He's gone back to Atletico Madrid. I'm not really sure what's going to happen there because they've only suggested he'll be a backup keeper. I hope his personality and playing for the B team will help him improve. But Ivan Linares, if we get a work permit and if he gets football out on loan, his potential should make him very, very good. Next up was Stuart Lovegrove, who is another one of those young players with not much potential. He's also not got the best personality, so not expecting as much from him. But he was followed by, after two of the best bargain signings we've ever seen, maybe one of the best free agent ones we'll get as well. Because Matthew Rothwell came in on a free, and he is an absolute superstar. Released by Manchester City, signed here for free on about 30 grand a week, 3.5-star ability, 22-year-old English youth international, great vision, great first touch, and when you consider that we've lost Pasalic, when you consider that the likes of Gibbs, White and Davis are getting another year older, when you consider some of those that have moved on too, this is a great option to have. He is a real gem, can play in the holding role if we need it, and he's very versatile defensively. Got a few good player traits, which is interesting in the middle. When we want to speed the game up, plays 1-2s, tries those long-range passes to the wingers and strikers. I mean, he looks a real steal. He's not quite the finished article yet. He's got a little bit more potential. He's training well. He's a really good player. And regardless of whether he makes it as a first teamer at the top level in the Premier League, he is a great squad player to have signed for free. So really pleased with that. Followed by another goalkeeper, this time one we could sign at the club. Dejan Jankovic comes from Ajax for 2.5 million. Actually rated almost as good as Rajkovic already. Only 23 years of age. A little short on the agility and a little short on some of the technical attributes. Only 6 foot, not the most commanding in the air. With Rajkovic in his mid-30s, it gives us a real opportunity to have a gradual changing of the guard. I feel like with a lot of the others, Rothwell, with Gruznov, with Esnalt, they're going to come straight into the team. With Jankovic, I think it'll be a bit more of a gradual process, but definitely a future number one. Again, a great personality to improve in training. He'll play all the cup games. He'll play a few league games too. I'm really thrilled with him. He's another one where sky is the limit. After him, we had Glenn Mills, a youngster from Cliftonville. Nice to have a little link to Northern Ireland, and he's actually not that bad, but no potential to make it at this level. Then we've got our reunion. Does anyone remember the name Jimmy Campbell? Because we had him on loan at Ipswich Town 2 years ago. He was a very good left winger. He's as good as Mitran already, another Scottish player in our left wing position. And again, given that we've lost Lincoln, given that we've lost Renan Lodi, he was a player who was much needed. And at 20 years of age, again for less than £10 million, we're already in his favoured personnel. He's going to be a great signing. Look at his physical attributes. He's naturally fit. He's quick. He's very good technically. Maybe not improved as much as I would have expected in that year after Ipswich, but was playing quite regularly for Celtic last year, a youth international for Scotland, and a very good option on the left wing. Ethan Diop was a quick free agent signing who's not that good. And the other one, Jorgen Clemenson, bit of a weird deal because I'm not sure we needed him. But 5 million from Feyenoord, 23-year-old Danish right back and centre half. Not tall enough or physical enough to play in the middle, can't jump, can't really head the ball. But as a fullback, he's not bad. We've already got Malaki, Mustafa, and of course Kuto who starts, so it's a bit of a weird signing. But again, big potential, low fee, low risk. It's brilliant. We have had such a good summer in the transfer window, and I want your thoughts in the comments because I've been getting very excited about this. But I want to know, am I overreacting? Because I feel that in our, 4 or 5 years of doing the head coach save, I feel this is one of the best summer transfer windows I've ever seen. And it is perfect evidence that AI recruitment is improving. Because those signings, for me, absolutely brilliant. Particularly Esnalt and Gruznov. But are they going to make an impact on the team? Well, have they made an impact on the relegation odds? That's the first question. Crystal Palace, where are we expected to finish now? We have a look at the season preview. Third bottom. Norwich, our opponents today, are the favourites to go down. Then Forest, who were promoted. And we are just behind Fulham and Everton, who also came up. And Watford and Southampton, who struggled a bit last year. But let's go and get through the fixtures. It's Crystal Palace v Norwich. Most sides have already played today. Let's see what team we can put out, how many of the new boys we'll put in. You know that I don't like to go too crazy at first. We'll see how we get on. Well, it might have been a little bit enforced for reasons we'll talk about in a moment, but this might be a new record for me. 3 players making a debut at this level on the opening day of the season is not what I like to do, and it would have been 2 if I'd had my way. But unfortunately, Ribeiro was injured a lot of pre-season. He's come back. We've tried to build his fitness up, but he's now lacking match sharpness with a very heavy match load. And those 2 things combined worry me greatly. If we look at his stats there, he's played 320 minutes in the last 2 weeks. He's got an above average injury susceptibility. I'm a little worried he might get a knock. We've got another game on Wednesday to think about and then Saturday. So we're going to have to be careful early on here. But it is a better team we've got, and it's also a slightly more progressive tactic. So for now, we are going to play the same formation. We're trying to run at the defence a bit more because we've got that pace and that grit out wide. Gruznov's brilliant, Vaknin, Mitran, Ribeiro when he comes on. Chris Lewis is back from his loan as well. We have got bundles of pace up there. Even Jimmy Campbell coming into the team as well. In transition, we're going to distribute him more quickly. We've got the young team now. We've got the fresh legs. And out of possession, higher block, prevent short goalkeeper distribution. Let's get up the pitch. We're not staying on our feet. We're getting stuck in. And we're going to try and push this team forward. So little subtle changes to make us a lot more aggressive. And I hope that they're going to pay off. So among the new signings, we have got the new goalkeeper and Campbell on the bench today. Chris Lewis back from his loan is also there. I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's an official wonder kid. And then in the starting 11, in come Esnall, Gruznov, and of course Rothwell in centre midfield. I've gone for Tom Davis over Gibbs-White because he's training better, he's still a bit fitter, and he's better in the box-to-box role. But the rest of the team is relatively young. Take out the goalkeeper Rajkovic, where you probably need some experience. Couto and Kelleher the fullbacks, Esnall and Richards at centre-half. Castro in the holding role with Rothwell alongside Davis in centre midfield. He's the real experienced grit in the centre of the park. And then Gruznov, Mitran and Vaknin the front 3. It is a youthful team, it is an exciting team, and it is an athletic team. Are we going to get the reaction we hope for? Are we going to get an opening day win? Because we're at home to the relegation favourites, the side who just avoided the drop last year. And if we don't get a win in this one, my optimism will probably wane a little. Let's go and see if we can do it. Into the opening game we go. Well, it's a Norwich side that includes the likes of Levi Colwill, Troy Parrott, who almost signed for us last summer, and Sonny Perkins too. On the bench, they've got Esposito. They've also got Ethan Laird, Brendan Aronson, some good players in there. Just notice Kepper is their second or third choice keeper too, which is interesting. But let's go and make our home advantage count. Loads of lads motivated, loads of youngsters hungry to do well. And if Dougie Freedman has given us anything, it's a new energy in his job at Palace. Let's go and get into the first half. It's a sellout as you'd expect. Can we get Selhurst rocking? And can we get on the front foot? No more playing boring stuff. No more sitting behind the ball. We've got a team that should be front-footed. And hopefully it will be. Let's find out if it is. Well, 15 minutes on the clock. It's been a slightly cagey start, but we are on a front foot now with Mitran, who finds Rothwell, the new boy. He drifts left, tries to flick it in. It's a good ball to Kelleher. Cross to Gruznov, who heads over the bar. The great chance. He's probably not the man you wanted it to fall to. We have asked the lads to whip crosses in, because obviously we're not the biggest team up there now. But we look like we're the better side here, as Mitran has a free kick. Good position, 30 yards out. Curls it round the wall. Great save by the keeper. It's out for a throw-in. It's been a positive start. A quarter gone, 0-0, but we're creating chances. Well, with 5 minutes to go to the break, we're drifting into the territory of frustration now because we've not been able to break this very deep Norwich team down. And we know it only takes one counter-attack as it's forward, nicked by Kelleher. That's the higher press we're talking about, not letting them play out and get comfortable. As Vaknin gets to the edge of the box, back to Mitran. 2 men on the edge if he can find them. Tom Davis, 1. There it is, just wide of the post. I thought it was a goal, I think you can tell. But that is really good stuff. Gruznov struggling at half-time, of course, playing a little bit further forward than he would normally. And let's be fair, he wouldn't be starting this game if Ribeiro was fit. But at half-time, we've had more of the chances. We've been the better team. We just need that cutting edge. And maybe bringing on a couple of players later on can do that. With 50 minutes gone, we're into double figures for shots, which we didn't do an awful lot last year. But we haven't got the goal. And now it's a Norwich corner. We're a little better in the air, but not much. As Colwell's header goes over the bar. Time for changes, I think, in a moment. It's an hour gone. It's got to be Gruznov. He's going to take a while to adapt, a bit like Kelleher last year. We signed him to play wing-back. He didn't quite develop in time. And we've seen it a lot across all saves this year with wingers. We had it in the Distillery save with Mpardi, with all the right wingers, in fact. Took them half a year to get going. So Gruznov off for Ribeiro. I've got Chris Lewis there if we need him. We'll save it for now. Rothwell will also come off. Morgan Gibbs-White for him. Little bit of familiarity. At right back, Couto struggled, but I'm going to leave him. He's more attacking. Defensively, though, we look a lot more solid. We're back for a Norwich goal kick. About 25 left on the clock as Esnort heads away. He's looked very good today. Here's Richards to Couto, who's struggling with his morale there. Ribeiro gives the ball away. That is really not good. Do not give away a stupid goal after a performance like this, please. Into Couto, loses out again. Esnort mops up. There is the world-class defender we've been missing. And he is going to be there very soon as Rajkovic forward towards Mitran. Great first touch. Brought down Perkins. Got to be a free kick. And got to be a second yellow. Off he goes. We're already playing positive. Hopefully that will give us an advantage now. Because with 20 left, I'm going to go aggressive. Davis will come off, I think, for Grombach. And then do we take off Vaknin for Lewis? Give the Wonder Kid a chance. Do I even throw on a second striker? Let's get inspired by Fergie. With the last 10 minutes, we'll throw on another striker. Because we're 10 to go. Norwich are holding out. We are going to go for it. Lewis is going to come on for, I think, Luigi Castro, you know. I'm going to do it. Luigi Castro will come off. Lewis will come on. This is a new me this year. We're going to go for it. We're going to chase games. Lewis can do the poacher role at the back post, so he'll stay on the left alongside Vaknin. We'll then put, to make up for it, Morgan Gibbs-White as a deep line playmaker on support. But they've got 10 men. We're chasing the game. We've been positive for ages. We're not getting forward. Mustafa could come on, but he's struggling a bit with nerves. We've also got Jimmy Campbell, of course, so it feels wrong not to bring on. But Mitran's playing really well there. So I'm going to go for it. Mustafa right back for Couto. And hopefully we can get the other 6 forward. As Mitran comes down the left-hand side, just waiting for those subs. Goes all the way himself. Plays back to Kelleher. He's got options down the line. If we score, I will be cancelling that, by the way. The deflection takes it out for a corner. And now we'll have an extra striker on for it. 10 to go here. It's been a dominant display. We just need the goal. As Mitran, over the top, is cleared away. But he's won it back again to Lewis. The new boy on to Vaknin. Turns his centre-half, but Colwell does well. Clears away as far as Esnort, who's there again. Into Grombach. The pass is poor. Now, we do risk conceding on the counter here. As Berger plays wide to Carlos. Norwich taking their time. They're not in any rush to get forward here. They'll probably just wait for a ball over the top, a hit and hope. It's back to the goalkeeper. Big punt downfield. Up goes Chris Richards. Wins the header. Ribeiro chasing again. He's not fit. That was a mistake, though. Gibbs-White wins it back to Vaknin. Chris Lewis in. This is your moment, son. Can you arrive at Palace? It deflects into the keeper's arms. It was a great run. He's trying to get in behind, but it has not led to a goal. We've got 2 minutes plus stoppage time. We've gone attacking. We are trying everything to win this game. But I think Norwich are going to hold out. With 10 men, they nick a 0-0. We had enough chances to win that match. The expected goal's 1.5. And maybe that's going to be the issue. Have we got enough to put teams away? We were exciting. We were front-footed. We were much better to watch. But the goals are going to take a while. Gruznov's got to settle. A few of the others too. But it's a better performance and it's a better team. Let's hope that's a sign of good things to come. Well, given the summer that we've had here, it would be remiss of me not to show deadline day. So we're going to come back for the final game of the month. We'll be letting Dougie do his work again. But we're, of course, going to see if this season improves us or not. We look better, but we haven't got the cutting edge. Let me know what you think will happen. If you're looking forward to the season and you did enjoy that one, please do put a thumbs up on it. If you missed our fun little video reacting to the winter transfer update on Sunday, that one's up in the eye above, as is our Build a Nation save, which is hotting up yet again, the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and the blog series too. You can also check out the HelloFresh link in the description if you live in the US. You get massive money off and help support the channel. Thank you as always for coming along. It's been a brilliant summer and I'm genuinely excited for this season. Let's hope it stays that way. The optimism doesn't go. I'll see you in a couple of days' time to find out if we've scored a goal.